Welcome to Political Paradigm. I am Terry Kumi. Well, when the Ekiti governorship election has come and gone, the ruling party and the winner of that election would be excited. But every election gives us an opportunity to assess it as we prepare for the 2027 president general election. I'm joined now by the chairman of the Interparty Advisory Council, which is the umbrella body for all the political parties in Nigeria. He's also the chairman of one of the political parties, the Allied People's Movement, Mr. Yusuf Dantali. Welcome to Political Paradigm, Mr. Dantali.
Thank you for having me. Good morning, Mr.
You know, the Ekiti election was an off-cycle one, and it gives us an opportunity to assess of what to expect from the 2027 general election. What are your thoughts on that election, considering the fact that not only do you represent the entire political parties, but your party had a governorship candidate in that election?
Okay, thank you once again. I wouldn't want to say much about the election because the Interparty Advisory Council have not met. The election just took place on Saturday, result declared on Sunday, and here I'm not even around in Abuja, but from the third-hand information that we get on the TV, social media, the election is riddled with vote buying and ranging from 5,000 to 15,000, even videos of people displaying what they got happily, with some pockets of violence. I think even some police officers were attacked, and also accusations that some uncollected PVCs were sold or given out to particular political parties, to strangers, to go and vote and all that. But those allegations are yet to be substantiated. We'll investigate it and then look at all that happened. But the thing is, we always have our positions about election or democracy in general. And I think until some of the key things that IPAC has been advocating has been attended to, all these things will continue to reoccur as symptoms of the main problems.
Well, I understand that you are trying to be conservative until you carry out full investigation. But like I said earlier, your party contested that election. I'd like to think you had agents across Ekiti State who would give you feedback on how things went there. So perhaps you could speak from that point and also talk about the preparation process, because as far as we're concerned, this is also a litmus test for the electoral empire. Some still refer to Professor Mupiton as a relatively new INEC chairman. So we must use this to assess him regardless.
When you have information, as a leader, you must be sure that what you are saying is the true position, the exact position of things. You don't just hear from one part and then you begin to report. So I think it is important for us to look at it from all directions, interfacing with INEC, meeting with other political parties, meeting with my own party structure, and then we'll come up with a consolidated position of all the fronts. So, but the fact remains, they were vote buying massively. There were issues allegedly of PVCs being given to people and pockets of violence. So all these things, for me, they are symptoms of the main problem. IPAC have a position that we have maintained over time. And that position is about the amendment of the Constitution. Until the powers, INEC must be made to be wholly independent. How? The power, yes, the name implies Independent National Electoral Commission, but to a greater extent, INEC is not as independent as we claim. Reason is the appointment of INEC is made by one of the players in the field or in the match. Until the Constitution allows that the power to appoint the chairman of the Electoral Committee and the Commission is taken away from the executive, who continue to have some of these complaints, because it is expected that there is a court between yes, there are rules, or the INEC as a body operate within a confine of regulations or provisions of the Constitutional Electoral Act. But then there are intelligence that we have about incursion by some individuals. Recently, we have there's something on the social media about an individual who is close to a particular power and coming out with sensitive information, classified information from the INEC website, INEC server. So some of these things, how is it possible? Okay, there are intelligence that a few people, some persons infiltrate, okay, the operations of INEC. So all this is for us to say, okay, this is not possible. This is gone completely. Let Nigerians be able to freely choose who they want, how they want it, when they want, independently. There are lots of problems in our democratic practice, not just about Ekiti election. Most of these things we are looking at, for me, they are symptoms of the problem. Until we agree to solve the problems, we will continue. We cannot expect what we want electorally. No.
Okay, let me take you up on some of the things you talked about, one of which is the infiltration into INEC service as alleged against the aide to the FCT minister, Mr. Lere Olayinka. The INEC had come out to say that it's under investigation. It's been weeks now. Do you think that the process is slow, or do you still trust the process?
The thing is, I don't know the magnitude of the allegation, the magnitude of the offense committed. But until we meet, just like I mentioned earlier, until we meet or interact with INEC, I have not seen the INEC chairman since the last time we had a consultative meeting, which is some weeks back. So until we meet and we have first-hand information, I don't really like reporting from second or third-hand information to know what exactly happened, and then why is it taking time for us to have the result of the investigation. So, but all these things I still maintain. They are symptoms of our problems. INEC must be wholly independent.
But when you talk about the independence of INEC, this has been canvassed in several fora. But the question is, what exactly is the independence of INEC? Is it just the appointment of the INEC chairman that could guarantee the independence of the body?
The appointment of INEC chairman, the commissioners of INEC, the funding of INEC, all these things must be independent of the executive. Until these things are addressed, sincerely, we will still be moving within the same circle. That aside, we have to look at the judiciary. What is happening recently, that whatever happens, INEC will do their due diligence, do what they have to do, and then at the end of the day, some elements in the judiciary will upturn these things. We have also been asking for a review of the judiciary, the appointment of the Chief Justice of the Federation and the Attorney General of the Federation. You see, these things, yes, we might not get it now, but if we must get Nigeria working for Nigerians, we have to address these issues.
Mr.
Let me finish.
All right, go ahead.
Now you see the drama going on recently in the democratic space. There are parties have leadership issues. One party to borrow another party. Any party that is coming strong in opposition, the next thing you see, there will be leadership crisis in that political party, or one problem in that political party, discouraging the members of the party. Then, after fielding nomination, after INEC have rolled out timetable to political parties, and the process of election have commenced, having field nomination, some faceless individuals went to approach the Federal High Court that those parties should be deregistered. We have the current governor of ASUU who left PDP because of the leadership crisis in PDP. He has his followership. He moved to another party, the Accord Party. He is running election in August, which is a month and a half or two from now. The man has been campaigning. No, and suddenly somebody went to court that they should register Accord Party and okay, with some fictitious, some false allegations. INEC came out to say no. These parties are qualified to contest election. Then the judge, then the appeal court also made a declaration that this court, the Federal High Court, please stay proceedings until a determination of a matter of the appeal brought before them, which is meant to hold on the 27th of October. Suddenly, dramatically, the court, the parties, their lawyers got a message same day that there will be judgment delivered, and the judgment was delivered that those parties be deregistered by INEC. What is the implication of this thing? Those who have fielded nomination, the man who is contesting election in ASUU is no longer qualified to contest election. For all those who believe in him, their right to choose who they want has been taken away from them. The representation that the people of ASUU State seek to elect who they want has been taken away from the people of ASUU. This is anachronism. Then you have other parties. You now wait, after allowing these parties to be part of the process of, they have gone around the 36 states of the country. The FCT conducted primary elections, had nominations. They are waiting for INEC to release the code for the uploading of candidates. Then you are asking them, are not among these people, they are prospective presidents of this country. They are prospective governors of this country, members of the party. They are prospective senators. They are prospective House of
on this issue, Mr. Dantele, on this issue as far as court judgments are concerned, do you think the hands of the electoral umpire are tied? I ask this because I recall at your last quarterly meeting with INEC, you had talked about the concerns around conflicting court judgments. And considering the fact that you brought it up at that meeting with INEC, I'm wondering what exactly you expect the electoral umpire to do in cases of court judgment.
So on this one, of course, the appeal court stood their ground. Okay, I think on this same last 2 weeks or so, and said no, that judgment be suspended. The execution of that judgment be suspended. But we are only saying, what I'm saying is that why should this happen in a country that is bedeviled with lots of socioeconomic and political problems that need everybody on board to fix the problem? Why are we destroying?
No, my question was more about the electoral umpire, because I want to know, and I think Nigerians
the electoral umpire have no choice but to obey judgments of court.
Let me draw your attention to something else, and that is the state of Nigeria's polity and the Electoral Act. IPAC has great concerns about the Electoral Act, and at the meeting with the president during the iftar sometime in March, did you leave that meeting confident that there would be improvement, or did you leave there with the fear that the president would do anything within his power to win?
No, the president told us categorically that it's already a law, and then he has his own team to examine and review what was brought to him before he assented to it. So we already knew the body language of the president. Nothing would be done. So What is important now is to go back to Nigerians and tell them, no, from all we are seeing, for us to get what we want, the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria must be amended, certain provisions. And this Electoral Act cannot stand the test of time. Today, about 50% or more of the members of the Senate and House of Representatives who were part of the review of that Electoral Act, they are not returning to the red and green chambers. They lost out, and those things that they did, they have no way now to come back because they did it blindly. So this is what we are saying: make laws that will stand the test of time, not just because you want to do it now, but because you believe it will serve the interests of Nigerians.
Do you think that the 2026 Electoral Act, as signed by the president, will not serve the interest of Nigerians going into 2027?
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
I want to ask you a question because I had I had the SDP presidential candidate with me sometime last week, and one of the things he hammered on was that President Bola Tinubu had told you all at that meeting that he wouldn't give you a free and fair election. He would take the election to his advantage. He would take the entire process to his advantage. Was that exactly what the president said?
So what the president, in his language, the president said, the game is sweet if you are winning. He said so.
So at no point did the president say that he wouldn't give us free and fair.
The president said yesterday, I was in opposition. Today, I am no longer in opposition. I'm in power. The game is sweet when you are winning. That he has his team. His team has reviewed the Electoral Act, and there's nothing wrong with it in his words. So that already it is a law. We should all go to the poll. I think with respect, he's the president of the nation. What we did was to appeal to him. It's not the legislature. To see how he can use his position as the father of the nation, as the president of the nation, to see that most Nigerians are not disenfranchised. That's what I told him. As the father of the nation, as the president of the country, this Electoral Act, we see that some of the provisions will disenfranchise Nigerians, I told him.
Okay, so
if there are ways you could look at it and review it, and then let's look at it so that we have it better. You are a beneficiary of multi-party democracy. But now, from the election, the primary elections we had, you see a lot of Nigerians, because of consensus and some parties trying to run away from litigations, rather than going for direct primaries that is so expensive, okay, and cumbersome to conduct, with the withdrawal of the indirect primaries, a lot of parties opted for consensus. And by that, the rights of other Nigerians to contest or to bring themselves out to be elected by Nigerians was denied.
From your standpoint, Mr. Dantali, the law is as it is right now. IPAC has concerns, and we have a general election coming up. That law has been used to conduct the Ekiti election. It will be used to conduct the ASUU election. What are your concerns as far as 2027 is concerned, or elections in Nigeria, using the 2026 Electoral Act?
I have maintained this position. The election is not an event, it's a process. The process of election begins with the laws. Don't forget that the first time, INEC released timetable twice. A timetable was released in line with the provisions of the 2022 Electoral Act. The process has started. Then, the Electoral Act was reviewed, okay, released. Even though the Electoral Act is not known to Nigeria, most of the provisions are not known, because I've had the FCT Senator Ireti Kingibe, came out to say some of the things we are seeing here are not what we deliberated. One or two members of the House of Reps have questioned some of the provisions of the Electoral Act. So some of these things, we, the men on the field, we didn't get ourselves used to the Electoral Act. So it's like a crash program. So the success of every election begins with the foundation, which is the law guiding the conduct of the election.
Well, what do you mean?
There are questions about the laws. There are questions about some of the provisions of the laws, but we are rushing into it. Now we have started and we have seen the result of the primaries. So as we get to the election, we are not comfortable with most of the provisions. No, we are not.
If you're not comfortable with the election, but you will still go into that election, all political parties will. And we see these coalitions being formed to take out the ruling party, the APC. You're a member of the APM. I know that you are the chairman of IPAC, but it doesn't, take away the fact that you belong to a political party. What is our APM's stance on coalition?
APM is not into any coalition at the moment, but that does not mean if there is need for us to go into coalition, we will not go. But then there are discussions ongoing among political actors. Even the Electoral Act, we are still looking at it, okay, believing that something will be done. We have written the House of Representatives and the Senate. We have written the international community. We are still consulting. We are still discussing to see if anything can be done.
Mr.
And if it is not done, political party leaders will decide. What is important is that we cannot, Nigeria belongs to all of us, and we will have to work to ensure that we have Nigeria of our dream. While doing that, not to destroy Nigeria, not to put Nigeria on fire, but Nigeria must get it right.
Well, absolutely.
What is happening today? The social ills. Today, you have Nigerians being picked like chicken from their houses, from the streets. We have inflation biting hard on Nigerians. All these things can only be solved if Nigerians elect who they want to solve their problems freely, not by denying them.
Right.
Who becomes their leader.
Right. I want to get your thoughts on one of your members, IPAC, that is a member of IPAC, Omoyele Sowore, who is a presidential candidate, by the way. Now, the concerns in the public space are that he's a presidential aspirant and shouldn't be treated the way he's...
not aspirant, he's a candidate.
I beg your pardon. He's a presidential candidate.
Yes.
He is in court for defamation against the president and is now being remanded in Kuje Correctional Center. You saw the videos yesterday and the treatment. What are your thoughts on his ordeal so far as a member of IPAC and a presidential candidate?
We have been talking since yesterday at IPAC level. We are not happy with that development. Omoyele Sowore is one of us and is one man that all he does is to see that we have a better Nigeria. So we are looking at it. IPAC will meet and take a decision to that effect. But our solidarity is with Sowore. We are with him. And then we want the laws to work for Nigeria, not to be used to witch hunt anybody. And IPAC, based on the discussions I have with a few IPAC leaders yesterday and this morning, our position is we are appealing that Sowore be set free. He should be released. He's a presidential candidate. He has election to run, not this time.
So when you put that side by side with the law which you want to be followed, because it's a defamation trial and it's in court, do you think that this is not out of the hands of the executives, or do you think that this is a witch hunt?
No, yes, we are not saying Sowore is right or is innocent or he's guilty, but all we are saying is, yes, Sowore was on bail, okay, that the allegation before he was taken to detention is that he jumped bail. But Sowore saying, no, He was in court. He never jumped bail at any point. That is what we want to look at. He said he was in court. Why would he jump bail? And the Sowore that we know, that everybody know in this country, is not a man who is always scared of going to court. This is a man coming to court with his bag that in case you detain me. So why will such person jump bail? So these are the things we are looking at. We are not saying if he's innocent or he's guilty. No. The law must act. The law must take its course. But it has to be done fairly. It deserves fair hearing.
Very well. Mr. Dantele, I'd like to thank you very much for your time. I really look forward to IPAC's position on these two issues, the issue with Mr. Sowore and also the ECT election which just held as we look towards the 2027 general election. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
All right. Well, I've been speaking with the National Chairman of the Allied People's Movement, APM, who is also the Chairman of the Interparty Advisory Council, IPAC. If you'd like to catch this conversation again, please go to YouTube and search Political Paradigm. But for now, we'd like to switch the conversation and extend it to some other aspect of governance, this time education. The concerns around education are even greater now, and the reason is, as we go into another election cycle, there are several tools that politicians could use to score points, one of which is to appeal to labor unions, to ease up or give them whatever they can to make them slow down so that elections can come and go, and then subsequently the fight begins again. Now, one thing we do know is the strikes are a major concern in Nigeria, and one union that is infamous for strikes is the Academic Staff Union of Universities. While they insist that they are dealing with it as it should, because they are insisting that schools should function, academic staff should be properly paid and trained, and the necessary infrastructure should be put in place. Question is, over time, these agreements have been renegotiated, but it doesn't seem as though there's any progress. Let's speak with the National President of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, Mr. Christopher Piuna. He joins us from Jos virtually. Welcome, Mr. Piuna. It's nice to see you again.
Thank you very much. Nice to be with you.
As always, you know, it's interesting every time I talk to you that it almost suggests that there's crisis rocking. We don't want that. But I must ask you, it's over a year now since you became president of ASUU. What has it felt like being in the saddle for just about over a year now?
Well, thank you very much. And thank you for the interview. I'm a little worried about the use of the word infamous to describe ASUU. We've never embarked on any action that was meant to hurt the system, that was meant to disrupt the progress of the country. On the contrary, each time we embark on an action, we mobilize Nigerians, we let the press know, we speak with everybody and highlight, what the challenges are and the action that we may end up taking. And so, if you say ASUU is infamous for going on strike, that may be a little unfair.
It may not sound fair, but I mean, the students would almost regard ASUU in that light. But let's not dwell on that. Let's not dwell on that. I'm really curious because my question to you on 1 year in office is so you can compare what you felt as a member of ASUU with what you are feeling now as the president of ASUU, considering 1 year in office and, administration after administration. You've been with the Tinubu administration for a year. As far as negotiations and fulfilling the demands of ASUU goes, where do you stand?
Well, I've been told by a lot of my colleagues that I look older now. Some have said I've lost some weight. But for me, the last 1 year has been one of a lot of experience, learning, solidarity. I've seen a lot of solidarity among our members on the issues that concern our universities and the country at large. I have also experienced unnecessary bureaucratic delays, sometimes from the government end. But in all of it, it's been worthwhile. In the last 1 year, we've been able to get government to sit with us and complete the renegotiation of the 2009 agreement, which culminated last December with the 2025 agreement that was signed. That is a great milestone. And like you said, regarding strikes, sorry. Well, like you said, regarding strikes, in the last 1 year, we've also had a fairly stable calendar. We have engaged government, we've engaged the press, we've engaged students, and I believe parents through public engagement. And so the last 1 year has been quite eventful for us. We are at the stage of implementing the 2025 agreement, which I believe you have issues or questions to ask about. But the last 1 year has been quite eventful
Absolutely.
to a large extent.
I do. It's good that you speak so positively because we're hearing reports regarding the unpaid allowances, and we're wondering why that is still coming up. And perhaps you could give some clarification on the federal government's eligibility clause for those unpaid allowances. There are some concerns around that, I believe.
When we signed the agreement in December, the point was that government was going to implement the agreement.
Without
we did
the
not
clause.
anticipate at the time that they were going to throw it at vice chancellors to seek for funds to implement the monetary aspect of the agreement. And so when government said they were going to commence implementation from 1st of January, we're all happy. Unfortunately, they threw it at the vice chancellors. And we want to appreciate most of our vice chancellors, if not all our vice chancellors, who did not hesitate to do the best they could at the time to ensure that the agreement was implemented. Unfortunately, they had limitations. They couldn't implement the agreement in full because federal government in particular, had not given them the needed funds to implement it. So we had that challenge. At the state level, visitors of state universities were quite slow. They are still slow. Some of them are showing lack of interest completely in implementing the 2025 agreement as it relates to state universities. It's one of the issues that we have, which we are bringing to the Implementation Monitoring Committee and the attention of state governors who are visitors to our state universities, because that is the major challenge that we have right now. And unless that is addressed, you are likely going to see more disruptions in the system, unfortunately. But we are, first of all, going to engage the government, state and federal, because there are still some federal universities that have not received the recently released funds to capture the eligibility that you talked about. Federal University of Agriculture, Makurdi is one. Federal University of Agriculture, Zuru in Kebbi State is another. So
well, what's the federal government's explanation for the delay?
Well, to be honest, the federal government has released money to all the institutions to address these problems.
Okay.
The Minister of Education told us that. He assured us, he gave us his word, and we agree with him. We agree with him that money has been released to all federal universities to address these problems. Why these universities have still not received theirs is one that we're trying to follow up to know what are the challenges. But at the Federal Ministry of Education's level, they have released the funds to all universities. And there is no vice chancellor today in Nigeria that should say he does not have enough to pay either the arrears or continue with the payments of the agreement. That is the position.
Are you satisfied with the pace of the implementation committee?
No. We're not satisfied with the pace at all. We're not satisfied with the pace. You can imagine, Terry, that this agreement that they said will be implemented from the 1st of January, it is in June that they are releasing the money to take care of all these monetary aspects of the agreement, which is a far cry from what we expected or what we agreed with government. Again, there are aspects of the agreement that we don't even know what is happening. The National Research Council, for instance, which we agreed will be established as part of efforts to, to kickstart, to reinvigorate research in the country, in all the research institutions and our universities. That till date, we do not know where government stands.
But is that bill not stalling in the National Assembly?
No. In fact, that is where the problem is. The government has taken a different document from our agreement to the
National Assembly,
Federal Executive Council, and it's been pushed as a bill. And we're wondering, why did that happen? How did it happen? Why are they not taking the agreement that we signed with them to the Federal Executive Council and the National Assembly? Those questions are still unanswered, and we believe that in the next few days, we'll get clarity on what government is doing.
What is the difference?
On the issue of autonomy, of our universities, we are also not very satisfied with the efforts that government has taken so far. One example we have cited is that our universities have the power through their Senate to award honorary degrees to individuals. If that process is not working, we have to go back to that body, the Senate of our universities and councils, to ensure that it works. That is the position of ASUU. We do not accept that the Minister of Education, no matter how well-intentioned his motives are in addressing the issue of abuse of honorary doctorate degrees, will take the responsibility of giving honorary degrees or setting up guidelines on how it will be done, for universities and our Senate. That is a violation of our autonomy. And these are the issues that are still coming as we try to implement the 2025 agreement.
There are quite a lot of issues, but I want to ask you, based on the rumors we're hearing, is there an impending strike?
No. There is no strike that is pending as far as our union is concerned.
Well, what is the level of...
Like I said, hold on. Let me explain that very well.
All right.
There is no strike that is impending as far as our union is concerned. However, we have serious problems with state universities, and they are implementing the 2009 agreement. And we do not act in our union as a state or a federal university. Once there is a problem with any of our member branches, we will take an action as a union.
That affects all.
To address the issue.
So you say if you have a problem with, say, or your state now, you take it out on the entire country?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that if we have a problem in Lautech,
yes,
Ladoke Akintola University in Oyo State, we are likely going to take an action The nature of that action is yet to be determined, but the union reserves the right to take action as it concerns any of our branches across the country. That's the point that I'm making. And I need to make this additional point when it comes to state universities. Recently, the federal government has released, through our struggle, ASUU struggle, they have released 50 billion naira revitalization fund to all universities, including state universities. Just Friday last week, we finished a meeting with the federal government where about 100 billion naira additional to the 50 billion naira will be released to all our universities. State universities came, some of them got from 300 million to 1 point something billion naira. The states are receiving that money. They are not complaining. They are very eager to get the money. They send their vice chancellors with principal officers to come and defend their projects so that they will get that money. But when it comes to the benefit to our members who have gone on strike, who have been denied privileges as a result of the strike, don't forget, 3.5 months of our salary is still outstanding as a result of a previous strike action. The state governments are always eager to receive and benefit from our struggles in terms of building their institutions.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the welfare of our members, they draw back.
Is this a case? Is this a case of universities picking and choosing which allowances to pay?
Exactly. Simple and short.
Now, who do you blame for that?
State governments, visitors to state universities. There is nothing that will happen in any university in the state that the governor will not approve. He is happy to pass through the universities and see buildings with TED fund written on it, with needs assessment written on it, all as a result of the strike that we have been vilified for. But when it comes to benefits, they turn the other way. And so we're going to turn their faces back to our own welfare issues. And in turning their faces back to our other issues, we have a lot of tools that can draw that attention. The press is one.
All right.
Strike action is another. Protest is another.
All right.
Press conferences, they are all sorts that we will use, and they are all on the table.
Before we return to the issue with the federal government, the agreement with the federal government, I want us to stay with the state governments for a bit, because what you've said also raises questions around the level of working relationship between the state government and the heads of universities. But then ASUU is in the picture and has concerns. What's the level of access you have with state governments to discuss these issues?
When we concluded the agreement in 2025,
yes,
Alhaji Ayale Ahmed, chairman of the committee, agreed with us that we should write state governors to inform them about the agreement. They have members, by the way, in our agreement, in the negotiation, members of state universities, chancellors, vice chancellors, they were all represented in the agreement. But when we finished, we agreed that we will write them to say, gentlemen, we have reached an agreement. This is the agreement. So ASUU, on our own, we wrote through our branch chairpersons, our vice chancellors, and to the visitors, and gave them that agreement. We also asked, because of what we agreed with Alhaji Ayale Ahmed, that the National Universities Commission, NUC, should write on behalf of the federal government, bringing the attention of visitors of state universities to the agreement. That has also been done. But like you know, in Nigeria, it is easier to see and speak to God than to speak to our leaders. So a vice chancellor can sit for 5 years and is unable to access a visitor to his university. Unions cannot even contemplate going to meet with a state governor who is the visitor to their university, unless there is a strike. And when there is a strike at the state level, they send the commissioner for higher education, they send permanent secretary this, they send commissioner that. So the problem with Nigerian leaders, especially at the state level, is that they are gods. And so seeing them is impossible.
What
can talk.
What states? I'm curious to know what states have a problem with implementing this
Okay,
salary structure.
let me draw you out. Let me tell you this.
Yes.
Bauchi state government has implemented in full.
Bauchi
State government.
Okay.
They have implemented in full our agreement with the federal government. So credit to Governor Bala Mohammed of Bauchi State. Governor Oyebamiji, is that his name? Of Ekiti State. He has implemented in full our agreement with the federal government in his state university. So kudos to Governor Oyebamiji of Ekiti State. Outside these two states, there is no state that has implemented our agreement.
That is outrageous. So how many of these states, that's almost over 98% or 99% of the states. How many of these states have you had engagements with beyond that agreement?
Terry, I'm just telling you that we've written to them. They don't see us. We don't matter. We don't count in this country, even as intellectuals. Nobody regards us. You will write 100 letters to a governor. He will not listen. He will not. There is no governor that is willing to meet with our union.
Yeah, well, what kind of feedback do you get from the heads of universities in these states?
Well, let me tell you something. You know that the state universities, especially the administration of state universities, they even think we have more leverage in accessing their visitors than they themselves, especially when it concerns the general welfare and development of our universities. Maybe they have some personal partisan relationship with their governors and they can access them at any time. We don't know about that. But when it comes to development of our universities, in fact, most vice chancellors believe that ASUU could make it possible more than they getting to see their visitors. It's an upside down country that we have. I was just listening to the last interview that you had before this one about Nigerian leaders, politics, and all of that. And I think the speaker said we need an independent judiciary, we need an independent INEC, we need parties and all of that. What we need in this country is independence from all of them. How we are going to achieve that, we will get to know very soon.
Yeah, maybe,
but what Nigeria needs today is independence from all these people that are saying, no, they are in the opposition, or they are in this party, they are in that party, or they are judges, they are members of the National Assembly, they are committee chairmen in the constitutional review. It is independence from them.
Perhaps it's time for ASUU to get a little more partisan by maybe engaging with political actors and candidates and then picking out the one with the best ideas to improve the education system, don't you think?
Well, our union as ASUU, we are non-partisan. We state that we're a non-partisan labor union. But at any time we feel the leaders of our country, the political class, will need to listen to us, we try to invite them. In 2024, we organized a State of the Nation conference in Abuja. We invited, Terry, all the political party leaders in this country, all of them. We invited ministers of government. We invited members of the National Assembly, the Speaker, the President of Senate. We invited all of them. None of them showed up. None of them showed up. They are in Abuja where they are. And what were we discussing? We're discussing insecurity in this country. We are discussing funding of education in this country. We are discussing the role of citizens, private citizens, in moving this country forward. None of them showed up. Nobody from the Ministry of Education attended our State of the Nation conference. Invitation was sent to them. No representation was sent. Nobody from the National Assembly came. Nobody from the executive showed up. Nobody from the political parties showed up. So what are we supposed to do?
So that leads me to ask you, what the new Minister of Education, what's the level of relationship you have, ASUU has, with the minister?
That's a tricky question. Dr. Tunji Alausa is a gentleman that likes to get things done. He's very impatient in getting things done. I grant that to him. He tries to listen when you raise an issue. He's accessible when you try to reach him. That is the positive sides that I know about Dr. Tunji Alausa. But my problem, and I believe our problem as a union with the minister and the ministry, is translating things that we have agreed to reality. Look at this agreement. Before Christmas, or no, after Christmas, around 27th or 28th, he made sure Salaries and Wages Commission wrote a circular acknowledging our agreement that was signed a week earlier, stating that it will be implemented from the 1st of January. Till date, we're still struggling with implementing the agreement. So as a person, I have regards for him. I have acknowledged what I think about him, but as an institution, they are slow in responding. I said this last week in an interview. Hold on. I said this in an interview last week. The point is that once you agree on something, you should try as much as you can to implement those things that you have agreed to. We don't see that in the ministry. And take the implementation of the agreement. From January until we threaten strike or something like that, then the committee was immediately inaugurated. Why did they delay in doing that? We also had told them that we have issues with this research council. They have gone ahead to announce another research council, or whatever name they call it. Fine. Let us know how that one is working. Can we make contributions to it? What do you do with our own agreement that you have signed on this matter? Nothing. Unless we again threaten that we are going to take an action. And this is another problem with our leaders. Nobody in government has ever called us to say we are about to do this thing. Can we here have your opinion? If we give you advice and you don't take the advice, that's okay. But at least show regards people who are making contributions to make this country better. You keep saying that the university is the bastion of hope and the research, knowledge, and whatever, that the country cannot grow without education, without research, and yet you are not talking to your intellectuals. Is that how it happens in countries that they visit?
Prof, let me ask you.
Is that what happens in China? Is that what happens in US? Is that what happens? All the countries of the world. Is that what happens?
No, Prof, we're almost out of time, but I want to get your quick take, or retake, if I may, on the Coventry University that you oppose. Have you had a rethink? Because the criticism out there...
No, we haven't.
The criticism out there is that why do you not want a UK university set up here when there are concerns around Nigerians traveling abroad for study, wouldn't we have an improved system? What are your concerns and why haven't you had a rethink?
See, all we are saying, like, knowledge is international, it's global. We can't run away from interacting with Coventry University or Harvard or London University of Tropical Medicine or whatever, Germany. We can't run away. We can't run away from interacting with the university in Benin Republic. We can't. But what we're saying is that if you have a system that is failing, rather than invest your time, money, and energy in bringing something from outside, why can't you improve your own institutions? You signed an agreement in December. You have not implemented the agreement. The agreement is supposed to improve your own universities. You have gone to bring another university from outside the country. Does it make sense? Your house is leaking. Your house is leaking. Your house has cracks on the wall. Rather than fix the leak and the cracks, you are asking others to go to your neighbor's house to take shelter there. When you even have the capacity to fix your own house.
We're out of time, and every time I speak with you, I wish I had more time. But thank you for your time, Professor Christopher Piwuna.
Terry, you promised that you were going to give ASUU commendation if there is no strike. You were going to call us back, and I believe we have not gone on any strike since the last interview with you. And we want you to acknowledge the sacrifices of our members.
Yeah, it's commendable.
Our union, and our commitment.
I would need more details. I would need more details of why you haven't gone, and I will commend you. I promise you that. Thank you very much, Prof, for your time on Political Program.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Well, I've been speaking with the President of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, Professor Christopher Piwuna. If you'd like to catch this conversation and the previous one again, please go to YouTube and search Political Paradigm or simply go to channelstv.com. I am Terry Ikumi.